Welcome to Mind Body Monday, and thank you all for joining me. In today's session, you're going to learn my steps for managing summer gut flare-ups, not only limited to the summer, but managing summer-related gut flare-ups, and you're going to see why the summer has anything to do with gut flare-ups. We're going to briefly explore the role of functional medicine in managing the gut and health in general. We're going to look at the scientific connection between the summer weather and how that impacts the gut, and how to support your gut all summer long, and then live Q&A at the end. So we all, most of us at least, let me speak for myself, enjoy the summer. I love the warm weather. I'm an early riser, so after 8, I'm out there in the fields and I go for at least an hour walk every morning. I enjoy the summer change of season very, very much. I put away my Atlas all-weather rain gear and I just take myself with no extra equipment out into the fields and enjoy that walk at that early time of the morning. But as things heat up, I hear my kids and things get intense in the house. I hear my kids saying, "Abba, chill." So they're using this chill word in the middle of the summer when things get hot in the house for whatever the reason. And between them, I hear them often say, the kids say, "Whoa, take a chill pill." So unfortunately, some summer or hot weather can wreck the gut and cause havoc and cause a flare-up. And we're going to explore that. In fact, just as I was preparing today's Mind Body Monday, I've got a call and I have had some WhatsApp communication with someone who's reached out for help. They are in crisis. They have a gut flare-up, and they asked me whether I have any quick tips to help them with their gut flare-up and end it as soon as possible. Obviously, my heart goes out to anybody in crisis. That's, it's painful. It's painful to hear. It's painful to see. I did ask her, can you tell me a little bit about what's been happening? How long have you been suffering from gut issues for? So she said, oh, quite some time, but particularly over the last year, things have taken a turn for the worse. So I said, are you on any medication? And she mentioned, yes, I'm on Humira. And by the way, I also want to get off it. So for those of you who don't know, Humira, like a steroid, corticosteroids, prednisolone, are classified as an immune suppressant. Now, don't get me wrong, as life-saving as these medications can be, especially in the case of organ transplant, where it prevents the body from rejecting the organ and a person can live potentially a long, happy, healthy life. But there are some downsides. And according to the Cleveland Clinic, they noted on their website that suppressing the immune system can lead to increased side effects and health complications. And drugs.com, who gives more expose on medications, said that immune suppressant medication over the long term can really increase viral, bacterial, and fungal overgrowth and suppress the immune function, which these nasties can spread throughout the body and really undermine things. Humira acts as a TNF. TNF is a tumor necrosis factor blocker. Yes, it's a long word, hence the TNF. And what that does, it slows down or blocks rather substances that cause inflammation in the body. So let's just slow down for a moment. That this drug or these immune suppressant drugs prevent the substances that are causing inflammation from happening. Now, you could think that's a good thing at first thought. And in the short term, it could really, really be helpful. But as I mentioned, that over the long term, it could really wreak havoc with the body's immune system. So let's just ask a simple question. That I'm wondering how many of the specialists, before they prescribe these medications, have asked, what is the root cause of the inflammation in the first place that we're using these tumor necrosis factor blocker medications, aka in this case, immunosuppressant drugs, to suppress? Why is there inflammation? I don't want to divert, but over the last rains we had recently, I had rain pouring into my bedroom, through my bedroom roof over the rainy season. And when the summer comes, it dries up, and I've just treated it with some speckling over the area because it was complex to find. No one ever found the problem. And actually, so I had a clean looking roof, but a problem lurking beneath the surface. And just 2 weeks ago, I called in an expert. They diagnosed the problem. They redid my patio, which is above my bedroom. And lo and behold, a week later, it rained. And it rained in my bedroom as well. So clearly, the solution is still in the waiting. But I want you to imagine the following scenario to help get a deeper insight into what sets functional and integrated medicine apart from, call it the conventional approach. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking this at all, but I'm wanting you to adopt this lens just for today at any rate. And if you like what you see, great, walk with it. But if it doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. You can dump it. This is only an offering of a different way, a different paradigm, which I've been immersed in over the last 30 years. So just imagine you walk into your garden and you notice a beautiful fruit tree. And one of those fruits, or several, are looking quite sickly. The skin may be boggy, the leaves yellow or orange, and fly bug infested. So, you know, what's going on? So you trace the fruit tree, the twigs and the branches down to the trunk, and you see they're actually trees growing in a bog. So clearly there's something wrong with the hydration, too much in this case, as opposed to too little. But you see that the tree is also positioned poorly. It's in the shade. It's exposed to physical stress by an air conditioning unit near it, blowing at it 24/7. It's just not in a happy place. It's under physical stress. So what would you do? You know, would you go over to this fruit and just, put a little netting over it to prevent more bugs coming, maybe put some paste on it or a cream on it, or put, a fertilizer pill at the base of the root, or weed killer or insecticides, or what would you do? And there's a smart way to go around repairing the fruit tree. And yes, you may want to take care of that fruit before it turns rotten completely, symptomatically. But at the same time, you've got to trace the trunk down to the roots and understand what is going on under the hood, what is going on under the ground of this tree. This is what functional medicine is all about, because our bodies are a habitat too, just like the garden. And we also thrive with the right sets of environments and ingredients, just like that fruit tree did. But if you expose us to stress, poor sleep, negative thinking, poor diet, not getting quality sleep, poor sleep, etc., lifestyle that's unsupportive of health and vitality, then it's just a matter of time when the system breaks down, just like our tree. And this is what functional medicine is all about. It's taking the time to look at the roots, to understand what's going on. And in my experience, about 80 to 90% of health issues in general, be it any autoimmune conditions, diabetes, thyroid conditions, skin conditions, and a lot of mental health issues as well, like anxiety and depression, etc., are all rooted in the gut. And you can see watch my previous Mind Body Mondays on explaining exactly what this connection is with the gut and how fundamental it is. So that's an introduction of what the perspective from functional medicine is all about. When we look at the body as a whole, but focusing specifically what is causing this. And it's okay if the specialist prescribe Humira or any other immune suppressant medication to help the patient in crisis. But don't stop there. Don't just put the creams, lotions, potions, or netting on that fruit while the tree's growing in a bog or dehydrated or not getting or exposed to stress or whatever. Take the next step. Take the time, the trouble, caring, listening ear to figure out what is going on here. So let's look more specifically at what is gut issues and gut flare-ups got to do with the summer. Because on first glance, you can think, summer, winter, what difference does it make? So there's a fascinating Swiss study that was cited in the Journal of Gastroenterology, which identified two main causes of flare-ups in the summer. And one was called heat lag, and the other is to do with increased intestinal permeability. Heat lag is a fancy way of saying a heat wave. There's more nuances in that term. I'm not going into that now, but research showed that when there was a heat wave defined as 9 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius higher than the average for that day, then there would be a close to 5% increase in gut flare-ups that week or the week afterwards. And they found that there are at least 4 mechanisms that explaining why would there be an up to 5% increase of hospitalizations as a result of flare-ups of gut issues. So before I go into those reasons, let me just break this down to make it a little bit more understandable. So let's say there was an extreme heat wave on Monday. Then by Saturday, the 6th day, there would be this extended heat wave. And by Sunday, the 7th day, a week later, there would be this 5% of gut flare-ups, a full week. And research has looked at why isn't it immediate. There's all sorts of reasons for that, but they discovered that it begins in that week and could well extend the week later. Extreme exacerbation of people's symptoms of pain, of a total flare-up within the gut with pain and diarrhea and inflammation, etc. I'm not going to go into all the gory details. But when these researchers looked at 5-year information from hospital records, this was supported that heat waves definitely was a major reason behind that, these flare-ups. And there are 4 main reasons, and understanding these 4 reasons will give you an insight on how we can perhaps treat it. So the first is that increased heat changed the bacterial composition in the gut. That is the friendly bacteria, relationship with the unfriendly bacteria, and it affects the microbiome as well. It's the whole living organism inside our gut that dictates so much of our health and well-being in our physical being, our emotional being, etc. So the first is the heat upsets the delicate balance in bacteria in the gut. The second reason is that heat is actually a physical stress, especially in sensitive individuals. And people with IBS or IBD, inflammatory bowel disease, or inflammatory bowel syndrome, they are more susceptible, and the physical stress will bother them. And this is really similar to the point, but it's a third point specifically, is that people with inflammatory bowel conditions are less heat resistant, i.e. more sensitive to the heat than people who have a regular, a normal bowel, so to speak. And the last reason is that heat exposure changes the intestinal permeability. And in a previous Mind Body Monday session, I went into detail about the topic of leaky gut what that is exactly and how to treat it effectively, some strategies that are shared then. So heat affects the cells in the gut, which makes it more permeable. That means nasties that should stay in the gut are creeping through the intestine like a hose pipe with holes in it, and that goes into the bloodstream and amounts an immune reaction and also causes inflammation in the gut. Whoa, okay, it's Mind Body Monday. That is a lot of information. Let's all take a nice Mind Body Monday deep breath in. And this is how we'll do it. You'll breathe in through your nose and you'll breathe out through pursed lips. Let's all do that together. Breathe in through your nose. And as you breathe out through pursed lips, gently push your shoulders down. Feel a soft stretch in your neck. And one more of those again. Breathe in through your nose. And breathe out through pursed lips, stretching your neck out gently. Wonderful. Breathe normally. Come back to the session because just 2 or 3 slow, deep breaths like this serve to oxygenate the mind, calm the nervous system by stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest part of our nervous system, and it helps to settle the gut through relaxing the vagus nerve. And I go more into this in a Mind Body Monday where I discussed the role of the vagus nerve and the gut. But that's just an aside for you to pop up to my YouTube channel and see my other videos. Let's look at some strategies to help with flare-ups specifically as related to heat. Now, I have a huge toolbox to how to help with flare-ups in the short term, medium, and long term. And ideally, specifically on the gut healing program, we go into detail how to actually put them to bed for good so you don't need to have another flare-up, or when you pay attention and you begin to feel a flare-up happening, you can really nip it in the bud with some simple strategies. But for now, let's focus on some heat-related issues. So if I were to ask you to go ahead and type in the chat, what would you think is the first and foremost strategy to help the gut be more robust as a result of heat or heat waves? And the clue is to in the understanding of the 4 reasons that are actually causing it. So go ahead. Type in the chat. I'm interested to see what ideas you would come up with. What do you think is the most important? Let's say the top 3 strategies to settle an inflamed gut as a result of the heat. Yes, thank you, Ruchama. Someone's written in hydrate. Someone else has written in drinking. Esther, thank you very much. Quite right. Hydrate. You can say that really 3 times, right? Because it's so important. Now, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but many of my patients tell me, but Dr. Gundle, I'm drinking, and I'm still very, very thirsty. Or they say, I can't be bothered with drinking because either it gets me up at night or I just have to run to the bathroom all the time. So it just goes through me. And I don't think it's doing anything. I don't think my body is hydrating. So there are a number of strategies to deal with that. But let's just keep it really simple. Firstly, if you are in my WhatsApp group, 1440 Thrive WhatsApp group, I send out weekly posts that are quick wins for all sorts of things, gut and health related. And I posted there my favorite coconut water rehydration drink. So coconut water is really a great rehydration drink. And if you're interested, just you can join my WhatsApp group and I can resend it to you when you do that. So it's high in minerals like potassium. It doesn't have any sodium in it, or very, very little, and it helps hydration. Now, what's the key point here? For those people who drink but yet remain very thirsty, what happens is the quality of their drinking water is such that the surface tension of the water is very high. What that means is that when you drink it, it doesn't enter into the cell as easily as water that is structured water or smart water or water that has been treated in some way. I'm going to show you one or two ways to do that help to help it penetrate the cell wall and through osmosis enter into the cell, so you feel more hydrated. In fact, one of the quick hydration tests is if you just take your hand like this and you pinch your skin, you hold it up for a few seconds and you drop it. And when you drop the skin and it goes back completely without leaving a pinched section, that means your body's well hydrated. So if you hold your hand up and you pinch your skin and you leave it go and it stays up like this for a couple of seconds or half a minute or more, it means your body is dehydrated on a cellular level. So either you're drinking enough water and it's not being hydrating your body, or you're not hydrating, you're not drinking enough. So someone has just actually typed in that, yes, coconut water is very helpful. And they also use peppermint oil. They put in the chat. Thank you, Miriam, for that. Yes. So one of the things you can do is just squeeze half a lemon into your water. I carry with me my 1 liter water bottle. This is 32 ounces. And the key with hydration here is to make sure you're drinking the right amounts, which in the summer is 1 ounce of water per pound of body weight. So if you are, let's say 60 kilograms, I know I'm changing metrics, but if you're 60 kilograms, then you need to drink around 2.5 liters a day. So you do the math. 1 ounce of water per pound of body weight, and spread that drinking out through the day. And you can manage it well by having a bottle like this and making sure you get through one of these by mid-morning and another one by late afternoon, and perhaps early evening as well, if it doesn't bother you from getting up at night. So these are a lot of hydration hacks to help support you. So we spoke about coconut water, we spoke about adding lemon juice. What you can also do is just a pinch of Himalayan salt in the water, and that also helps to break that surface tension. Himalayan salt and Dead Sea salt have over 80 different minerals, trace elements in it, which also help to hydrate the body. I don't want to take too much of a deep dive in water, but I just want to add one more piece that people who use reverse osmosis systems, as helpful as they are at removing absolutely everything, all the toxins and viruses and all sorts of things that can be in the water supply, they also remove a lot of, well, obviously all the minerals as well. So you want to put some of those back, and there are various strategies to do that. But the Himalayan salt, some coconut water, and lemon juice together or separately is one strategy to do that. Okay, that is the hydration piece. And one last piece on hydration is, if you are a coffee drinker, just remember that coffee is a diuretic. That means it causes your body to lose more water. It dehydrates your body. So just make sure for every cup of water you're having, every cup of coffee, you're having at least 1.5 cups of water to compensate over and above your half an ounce to 1 pound, half an ounce of water to 1 pound of body weight water allowance. Okay, fantastic. So the second strategy to help manage flare-ups in the summer has to be quality probiotic. And I gave a previous Mind Body Monday, it's in my YouTube, on my YouTube channel, on probiotics and how to select a good one, etc., because there are so many in the market. It's difficult to choose, and there are ways to get it wrong and there are ways to get it right. My favorite first go-to is to actually make your own sauerkraut or make your own pickles the right way, that are fermented. And in my gut healing program, I go into best strategies to actually how to do that. But in the meantime, if you are into culturing vegetables, then this is a great way to do that. And if you're not, then just probiotic is very important to add into your daily program, because the second reason I gave to why flare-ups occur in the summer is because it changes the heat, can act as a physical stress, but it also disrupts the delicate balance between in the microbiome between the good friendly bacteria and unfriendly bacteria. So putting in a quality probiotic or cultured vegetables will create a louder voice in the microbiome and facilitate a greater balance in times of stress. So let's just talk about times of stress. So if you are an IBS or gut sufferer of some sort, it's so important to put self-care up there on your list of a daily habit, a daily self-care routine, because self-care is always an expression of self-love. And I know we always tend to help others first and above ourselves, be it our spouses or our kids or a friend or a neighbor. But just remember that airplane analogy with the mother with the infant on her lap and there's a drop of air pressure. She is not taking oxygen to the baby first. She's taking her oxygen, not because she's selfish, but because she wants the best for her baby. And the only way she can guarantee that is if she looks after herself first. And she is there to be a support for her family. So self-care is not an add-on or an extra or a nice thing to do. It's a fundamental principle of health, enduring health and vitality, and learning to develop a culture of caring for yourself just the way you would for others, because nobody can care for you as well as you can potentially care for yourself, because you know what you like and you know what you don't like, and you can give all the goodies to yourself as well in the name of serving others. So self-care, that means getting the sleep you need. If you need a nap in the afternoon, put your feet up, then get that power nap. If it means doing one less load of laundry or one less sink of dishes, or whatever it happens to be, to give yourself a break and empower others to help you, then go ahead and do that. If it means starting gentle exercise, a Pilates class, a yoga class, going for a walk with a friend, then put that on the map. Don't put it off. So self-care is the heart of healthcare. And that's why I end off every Mind Body Monday with self-care is the heart of healthcare, because it is a fundamental principle in cultivating happiness, health, and vitality for the long term. I mentioned exercise. Gentle exercise is so important as well, because it helps to move the lymph around the body, detoxify the body, and support healing and repair of cells in the body. So in the summer, you can do things indoors by putting on a Pilates class or joining an indoor class or whatever it happens to be. But don't put the keys of your health and well-being into the hands of others wherever you can possibly help it. Don't make your health and well-being and your good, healthy habits depend on your friend not showing up to go for a walk, or the Pilates class getting cancelled or something. Make a plan B. Go for a short walk, do some gentle rebounding, pull out your yoga mat in your salon and do in your lounge, and do something for yourself. This is the theme of self-care, which is just the lens again that you're going to approach health and well-being for yourself as well. In terms of reducing stress, as I mentioned, that one of the researchers showed that the heat itself is a physical stress on the body, just like that tree with the AC blowing on it all the time. It's just not how trees flourish. So learn meditation, learn a relaxation technique. There are many wonderful strategies to deal with our emotional world. Journaling is one of them. I have a daily practice of journaling. EFT, emotional freedom techniques, is a very simple, elegant way to manage emotions, manage stress. Actually flew many years ago to a seminar given by Gary Craig, who invented this technique, and I use it pretty much in my life daily, incorporate it in my clinic in a way of empowering people to just move through their emotions without getting stuck. So that's a very important piece. Remember, emotions are energy in motion. And there's no good or bad emotion, essentially. It's only when an emotion gets stuck that ill health and disease can begin. And once you allow yourself to fully feel the emotion, name it, because naming equals taming, you externalize it, and you're able to allow the energy to flow again through your body and heal. This is all part of self-care, but this part is dealing with taking care of your mind and stress. And meditation is one strategy I mentioned. Breathing is another. Journaling and EFT was just one I personally like because I use it so frequently. And lastly, I just want to share about getting quality sleep. In a previous Mind Body Monday class, I spoke about the glymphatic circulation. This is a circulation within the brain that occurs when we get deep restorative sleep. And researchers found something fascinating. They found that when we sleep, and specifically in a deeper sleep cycle, the brain shrinks. What that does is there's more space between the brain and the skull rather. And this way, circulating fluids called the glymphatic from the glioma, these are cells in the brain, you are able to circulate through the brain and get rid of products of inflammation and debris that a healthy brain produces every day. So getting deep restorative sleep is just not like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, go to sleep. Of course it's that. But the science behind it will give you leverage of yourself to really say, I'm setting a bedtime. Myself, I have two bedtime clocks. I set them on my phone, little alarms, play a gentle chime, just to remind myself that I don't get carried away, and put myself to bed at a chosen hour that I've decided before, given everything being equal. That way, I can get the deep restorative sleep. I've also taken a deep dive in the science of sleep, and I bought myself various trackers. I wear a ring on my finger every night. It's called an Aura ring, and it gives me deep metrics to my sleep patterns. I'm looking at my REM sleep, my oxygen, my pulse rate, my breathing, my quality sleep, my light sleep, all these factors that in the morning I can then course correct that day or that the following day. It looks at a very important metric called heart rate variability. I've also discussed this in a previous Mind Body Monday, which is really a close predictor of physical and emotional stress. So I'm a firm believer in you can only manage what you measure. So hence in my clinic, I'm always looking at blood tests and doing gut tests and doing hormone analysis, all sorts of things to manage and identify where problems are, take the guesswork out of what I'm doing, and therefore be able to make interventions that support people exactly where they are. So I'm putting in a plug for sleep. Get deep restorative sleep. And you don't have to go out and buy expensive trackers. It's a passion of mine, so I've done that. But you can just simply keep a pen and paper next to your bed and just log for a week what time you went to bed and what time you woke up and how do you feel in the morning or through your day. Just like that, 3 items. And just track that for a week and notice how your mood is, your energy levels, your gut is, etc. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this Mind Body Monday, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Mind Body Monday. And just remember that Mind Body Monday is where the heart of self-care is the heart of healthcare. And all you need to do is take one small step in the direction of health and healing in mind, body, and soul. See you next week.